Hi there, it's Galen, design team member with Unity Stamp Company. Today I have a floral card and I'm going to do a few steps. I'm going to show stamping, watercolor, and then heat embossing at the end. And so for the stamping I have Unity Stamp Company kit called Peony Hugs and also Flourish Wonder background. And so this stamp is huge, and so I'm going to use it, stamp it, and then fussy cut it. And also this background stamp is nice. It's a full A2 size background. And so I use a very light shade of archival ink to go ahead and stamp this background. And then I set that aside, and now I'm going to use a light shade of archival ink for the flower. For the flower, I stamped in Rose Madder and Sap Green, and for the yellow background or the gold background, I used Pale Ochre. So here we go. It just looks lighter. I wanted a lighter stamping. And once we heat emboss this later on, you'll see it will become more like a rose gold look to it. And so I went ahead and colored using Alt New Half Pans watercolor. I go in and I add a light shade of green on the leaves, and then I go in a second time there when the when the watercolor dries a little bit. I go ahead and add another darker layer where there's shadow and creases in the leaves. I add a darker shade, and then with a damp brush blend it out a little bit. And so for each section I do the same thing for this particular flower and watercolor. I just wanted a lighter shade to go on first and then come in with darker accents. You could start with a darker accent and pull the color. I just started with lighter, thinking that was enough, and then I decided I wanted more of a contrast, so I came in with darker at the end of each of those leaves. Now I'm doing the same thing with the peony petals. I'm going to concentrate on just the smaller one just for the sake of time. It did take a while to cover all the details on the peony flower, so I went in with the light pink all around in the creases and where I thought there would be shadow, and then I blended it out, and I go in and add with darker shades that center area of the peony, and then blend that out. I just blend that darker shade out into the flower a little more. Also, you can add even darker accents, so I'm doing that directly from the pan there onto the brush, a damp brush, adding darker lines again, just to get more detail, and then blending that out with a damp brush. And so that's the look I was looking for and going for. Now I heat set that and made sure that was completely dry. I keep the stamp in the MISTI, and I keep the placement the same for the peonies, and I put that back into the MISTI the same way it was when I originally stamped it. I stamp it again with Versamark ink, and I'm using gold embossing powder by Ranger. It's called Enchanted Gold. It's really pretty. It looks like it has glitter in it. It's very pretty. It's lighter than the typical gold, and it sparkles like glitter. And so you heat emboss that. And so I like sometimes to stamp, color, and then heat emboss. It just gives a different look. And I chose to do it this way. I really like how it turned out. It's real shimmery and shiny. And that pink stamping, you wouldn't know. It turns out it looks gold or rose gold with the heat embossing. And so there you go. I fussy cut the flower and I stuck it there on top of that background. And I added a sentiment. I stamped the sentiment on that same watercolor paper and trimmed it out with a paper trimmer. And now I'm just going to cut the edges that fall over the card base, trim those off, and add adhesive gems to finish. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you take a moment to subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.